Howdy and hello everyone, I'm rightful, Critic, and you're the viewer, and today we'll be looking at Manta at Seaworld Orlando and Manta at Seaworld San Diego. Yeah, I know, the comparison everybody's been wanting to be made. Like, I know that, you know, these two coasters have the same name, but I swear to God, the amount of comments I've seen on Manta at Seaworld San Diego videos saying, it's not as good as the Orlando version. I swear to God, I want to turn my eyes out and put them backwards. These, I just... Listen, I know I'm kind of biased here because Seaworld San Diego is my home park, and, you know, Manta is the ride that I've literally ridden the most out of any other ride, coaster, anything in my life. So, I am biased, but still though, you can't compare a B&M Flyer to a Mock family coaster. That is just, that does not work. You don't compare Tatsu to freaking, you don't compare Tatsu to Sierra Sidewinder, do you now? Well, why do you compare Manta to Manta? That makes no sense. Anyway, now that I've just said that, you're probably saying, well, why are you making a video about the two? Well, I'm doing this so that way I can simply make a small review about each of them, so I can show everyone that these two coasters are not the same thing, so maybe I can at least make an effort at stopping these comparisons from happening, because they're not the same freaking coaster! Anyway, let's get started with Manta at Seaworld San Diego, because I know that one better, so it would make sense to start with that one first, so I can get it out of the way, so I could actually get to some new stuff that I haven't really talked about before, because yes, I have made a Manta review before, and that Manta review does exist on YouTube, but it's a privated video, and I'm not going to unprivate it anytime soon, because that was a very unfair video. So yeah, let's just get started, and let's forget I ever said that. Manta at Seaworld San Diego was pretty much SeaWorld's attempt to try and save that park. All of their parks were dying even before the Blackfish documentary, because very obviously the public had been catching on to what SeaWorld was doing, so they were losing attendance pretty quickly. So Manta was an attempt to save the San Diego park, because they had already gotten a coaster at SeaWorld Orlando, but once again I'm gonna get to that because that was Manta. And Manta sort of worked. SeaWorld San Diego's crowds did go up a bit, and then we all know what happened, and then they didn't add another coaster until 2018. But yeah, so Manta is a surprisingly well-themed coaster. I'm like, yeah, this was before SeaWorld just decided to stop doing theming at all and decided to make Emperor, Pantheon, Iron Gwazi, and Icebreaker, well, not really Icebreaker, Icebreaker's fine, all on flat plots of land with nothing on them and nothing interesting about them. But again, I'll get to those in a later video, probably not. But yeah, so Manta starts with you walking into the Manta entrance, which is next to the Manta sign where the coaster goes around. This is a very good photo opportunity, and obviously I've taken photos and videos of it, as I have like 50 million different photos and videos of Manta at Seaworld San Diego for obvious reasons. After you walk down the queue line, you see the coaster streak by you as you see, well, again, more stuff that is well themed, like some lanterns in the water, and some water effects that SeaWorld finally fixed. If you're wondering, SeaWorld recently had Electric Ocean, and they decided they would fix Manta's water effects. And these water effects have been broken since like 2014. SeaWorld has not been trying to fix those for a while, and I think they gave up. As well as the water. The water was originally a nice blue, and now it's a mucky green. But they finally fixed both of those, so now it actually looks nice again. Thank you, SeaWorld. They still need to fix that tunnel, though, because the tunnel is starting to break a bit. But, it feels so good to have that fixed. Anyway, as you walk by the tester seat, please use it. You go into the queue line, and this queue line has some nice aquariums and some nice lights. Now, here's a pro tip from me: if Manta's line is ever in here, do not go. It is like a 2-hour wait, so if Manta's line stretches into this aquarium part, run. And after you get by that aquarium part, you go into this area where if you look up, you could see some hand drawings by what I'm assuming are just children. And these children are probably like, they're probably allowed to draw these, and then they put them up there, and I think that's pretty nice. And as you can see, they're just simple drawings, but they're pretty cool. And once you go by these, as well as some lanterns at night, you'll go into the main part of the queue, which is the part of the queue where if it's up to here, you're fine. If it's near the end, then maybe run. But if it's just in the middle, you're fine. So you'll see a bunch of plants, a rock river, some nice more plants, and some palm trees. And then you get up to the bridge. And this bridge is, well, the sides of it aren't wood, obviously, but I do think it has a nice aesthetic. If you couldn't tell already, this queue has a very nice southeastern Asian feel, which is, oddly enough, where mantas are found, so that makes sense. Manta at Seaworld Orlando has a, well, we're getting there theme. And, well, after you go up just a simple switchback, then you go into the station, which has some nice theming in it. This station, when you look up, you'll see some nice drawings of some mantas, some horseshoe fish, I finally remember that name, and some other fish that look like a manta-shark hybrid. And finally, when you get into the very comfortable mock ride seats, you then go off into the ride.
Yeah, the restaurant, man.
Once you launch into the launch tunnel, you go over a curve that's slightly overbanked by the water effects and over across the Manta sign. You go down and swoop by some nice plants, and then you go over into one of the best airtime moments of the ride. Yes, this ride is focused on airtime. Into another airtime moment over the pathway, and into a nice little pop of ejector in the front row. Then you go through some brakes, and then you launch for the second time. You go into a curve that provides some pretty good G's, and then into, once again, some nice ejector in the front and some pretty good floater in the back. Some more ejector and some nice laterals, and then through some high G-force, well, medium G-force, high G-force for a family coaster, into some nice turns that are pretty nice, I guess, and then into the brake run. Yeah, man, to seem short, but trust me, it's more than enough for a ride, and it's surprisingly good with how many airtime moments it has with the nice, really good floater in the back and the really good ejector in the front car. So yeah, that was Manta. And now, on to Manta at Seaworld Orlando, but of course, after some of my thoughts. So yeah, in my opinion, Manta at Seaworld San Diego is by far one of the best family coasters, if not the best family coaster in California. Yes, even better than some rides at Disney. It's that good. Manta is just in general a fun coaster. There's a reason why that before Passport to Thrills for Emperor, this was the ride that I rewrote the most in general, 11 times in a row. And one day I'm going to up that again because, come on, this is literally the ride I've ridden the most. That says something. So yeah, Manta's a fun coaster, and just because it seems like it doesn't pull any forces or that it seems like it doesn't pull any airtime, it does. Don't just look at this ride for its POVs. It is seriously a really good coaster, and I put it over the likes of Kraken, Patriot, Sierra Sidewinder. Okay, never mind, that's not really impressive. I'll look at my credits list later and I'll show some impressive rides that I put this over. But basically, yeah, this ride is really good, and you shouldn't just think that it's just another family coaster just because it's small and that it doesn't really go that fast. Anyway, now time for Manta at Seaworld Orlando, and I'll try to be as little biased with this one as possible, or whatever the reverse version of biased is, because I'm biased for Seaworld San Diego's Manta, not Seaworld Orlando's. Now, because I haven't given really myself an introduction for Manta at Seaworld Orlando yet, I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll start talking about the actual ride. So, I got to visit Seaworld Orlando, and thankfully every single coaster was open, and I got to get on every single coaster. Well, every single coaster was open. Journey to Atlantis, god dang it, making me have to visit another day just so I could get on Journey to Atlantis. Anyway, so yeah, I got to go on Manta, and I can say that it's a good flying coaster, but not the best flying coaster. Tatsu still kicks this thing's butt. Now, Manta came before, well, Manta at Seaworld San Diego, because, well, I guess SeaWorld just wanted to test the waters with how they could theme a ride named Manta, and so that way they could get the trademark for Manta, because, honestly, I think the theming on SeaWorld San Diego's Manta is superior to this Manta. Why? I think it's simply because of me. I like Asian theming a lot better than, what is this theming, by the way? I don't actually know. It looks like something in, like, Latin America? I honestly have no clue what this theming is, but I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. But yeah, this theming does not look like Seaworld San Diego's Manta, and I think that's literally just a personal preference for me, because I really like Asian-like theming, so I guess that's simply just a me thing. But yeah, I do think I like the theming at Seaworld San Diego's better, simply because of that, and also probably because I simply it may also be because Manta had a 30 to 60 minute line the entire day I was there, so I had to use a quick queue, so I was never able to see the actual queue, but I have seen videos, and it seems like it's pretty much just the aquarium part of Seaworld San Diego's queue. And to be honest, I like the garden section better than the aquarium section, and because that's the entire thing with Manta, no matter how good that aquarium is, I do not care, I want some plants. So yeah, I like the queue theming better in San Diego than Orlando. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the ride. And because I literally do not know anything about the queue, I cannot talk about the queue because I have not seen the queue in real life. Because on my final day, I purely was dedicated to Mako and Journey to Atlantis because Mako is top class. I was not able to see the queue myself because if I remember correctly, Manta had a 10-minute line when I went that day. Dang it, I could have gone on Manta. But anyway, so let's get started with the actual part of the queue that I saw, which was the station. The station is pretty nice. You see the two stations, one of them they were not running when I went. Why were you not running two stations? That would have really helped with the line, but whatever. And these two stations, very obviously, like Tatsu at Six Flags Magic Mountain, which I have seen running two stations, so I know what the potential, it can get the line out pretty well. But unfortunately, neither Tatsu or Manta are running two stations right now. Great! So yeah, after you go into the station, you'll see the roof is made of wood, the walls are made of stucco, that's some pretty nice stuff, and it's painted nicely. Unlike SeaWorld San Diego's queue, it does not have any sort of stuff on the roof or the walls. It's kinda bland, but I don't care because it looks nice with the movement of the people and the station and the trains. So, as you hear, what in my opinion is my favorite part of the station is that every single time a train dispatches, when it rises up, they make this really satisfying noise that I'm going to play for you right here, assuming you can hear it. I don't know what it is. It may be something with me and powering up sound effects because I also like this sound on Manta at Seaworld San Diego. But, whatever. Once you board the train, it's the average B&M Flyer trains, and they're pretty comfortable because B&M and Mach both make pretty comfortable trains, so that does both of these rides a win. And then finally, you raise up and you go into the ride. go down the turned drop, and then you go up into the most intense element of the ride. I know, right in front, isn't it? And then you go into the pretzel loop, giving some pretty good G-forces. Not as good as Tatsu's, but honestly, they aren't going to try and compete with Tatsu's now, are they? You go into a nice little roll, which is quite nice as you go around the pathway. This ride has a big focus on swooping around pathways. Then you go over into a nice corkscrew over a pathway, giving some nice footage opportunities. Then into the mid-course brake run. Then you drop down into the best photo op of the ride when it streaks by the water. See, the water effects are fixed all the time. Then you go by the waterfall area and into a final roll. And then finally down by the little area, giving you a nice, like, foot body chopper mode, I don't know. And then into the brake run. That was Manta, and in my opinion, it's a pretty good flying coaster. Not as good as Tatsu, but again, I don't think they're trying to compete with Tatsu with this one. They're simply just trying to make a good, fun, nice flying coaster. So, let's finish off this video. Finally, let's go. And there we go. The two Mantas finally talked about in one video and not compared like all the GP love to do. Now, my thoughts on Manta at Seaworld Orlando, it's a fun ride. I like it. It's just not as good as Tatsu, but I still really like it, and I'm not comparing it to Manta. See, I'm comparing it to Tatsu. That's better. I'm not comparing it to a freaking family coaster. Now, am I? I just really cannot get over that, okay? And so that will be it for this video. This is again the second episode of this new season, and I hope you all like it so far, as I'm doing some Florida-ish centric videos. The next one should hopefully be on Velocicoaster and Iron Gwazi, because I have some new thoughts about those two that I did not mention in that short, and maybe even my thoughts about Velocicoaster have changed. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see. See what I did there? I finally plugged, guys. Look, now I'm in the cool YouTuber club. Yes, I'm in the cool YouTuber club now. That's definitely where I want to be. So, anyway, hope you liked this video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's go on subscribing. Leave a like. And I was the Coaster Critic. You're the viewer, and I'll see you in the future. Goodbye.